Hello the internet, my name's Laura and welcome back to Bearded Dragon Diaries. So the thing that I've been focusing a lot on most recently is feeding my bearded dragon. As you might have seen from the last video, like I kind of priced all the enclosure and the lights and all that kind of stuff out, and then I was like, feeder insects are just kind of like all over the place. It depends on how many you have, blah, 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 you know, all this kind of stuff. And then I started watching videos on keeping dubia roaches and mealworms and crickets. And I decided that, number one, I was not interested in keeping crickets. You know, I can buy the feeder insects from my local shop, feed them over the course of a week, and then, whatever. But it did also make me realize when I watched those videos that I needed to set up my mealworm and dubia roach colonies because I need to be producing so that I have some babies that I can feed to my bearded dragon. And so that is what this package is. I ordered some adult dubia roaches and I ordered some mealworms. The FedEx place near my house, the FedEx that comes to my house, I have not ever had good experiences with them. Most of the stuff that I get shipped to me comes UPS and I'm fine with them. But the one time that I used FedEx, my cat, I had a cat who had cancer and I needed the chemotherapy drug shipped to me, and it ended up taking over 2 weeks for FedEx to actually get me a package overnight. The company that was shipping it out, shipped it out, and then UPS would take 2 days for it to get here. It was on ice. It couldn't be 2 days. It had to be 1 day. And it took 2 weeks, and I think 4 or 5 shipments before I finally got one next day. And this package also was supposed to come yesterday, and it didn't come until today. So that might be a problem later on down the line, but for right now, I'm hoping that these insects are okay. So it's got the little thing. Okay, well, they're not all dead, so that's good. Alright, so you can kind of see them in there. They're hanging from the top there. They're down at the bottom. There's little poopies. I ended up ordering, I think it's 5 males and 10 females, which is not technically enough females for the males. But it's at least a start. And I figured that was the important thing, is to kind of get a start. And then if I need to add more females later, I can just order some more females. So they're actually looking pretty good. I'm probably going to stick a thing of carrot in there so that they have some food and water. And then I also got, you can now see that this came from Rainbow Mealworms. No problems from them. They shipped this out exactly when they said they were going to, and it was supposed to get here. So this is not their fault at all that it took a while. Okay, they've got it in some sort of a substrate here. Hi guys! Alright, so there they are. Not sure how well you can see it. I don't want to tip it too far. We'll get some closer up shots later on. Hi. I know, you don't like it because suddenly it's bright, huh? That's actually a pretty decent sized mealworm. That's about the size it is, and I would feed that to, I'd probably feed that to a baby bearded dragon. I don't think that's too big. Especially since the bodies are so thin and long, it's not going to be that big of a problem. Okay, so we have our insects, and they mostly seem to be alive. So that's nice. I know you guys are not enjoying the light either. So let's go ahead and put you back in here so that you can be in a nice dark area until I am ready, because my next step is putting together the, sorry, that's kind of loud, putting together the dubia roach colony, and then the mealworm colony, which I am actually missing one of the pieces that I need, but I figure I'm just going to go ahead and set it up with what I need. And I'm going to, you know, it's kind of going to be a little bit of a how-to, but more of a Laura's figuring it out and putting it together type deal. So I'm going to move the camera so that you guys can see. I'm probably going to do it here, so. Okay, so different angle. This is the tub that I got. It's, I think, a 20-gallon. Yeah, 20-gallon. It was like $7, $7.50, something like that. And I figured this will be just fine. So I've got my tub down in there. But the thing, well, I guess I probably should have this on here. The thing that I want to do is, make some airflow in here so that the roaches do not suffocate, because that would just be silly. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of cut the top of this here. This is a brand new blade, so it's nice and sharp. I'm actually surprised at how well this is cutting. Cut. That's really nice. Okay. So now we've got that. It's not super straight. It's not super beautiful, but that's okay. It's for cockroaches. What do you expect? Okay. So the next thing is I've got my little glue gun heating up in the background there. And I have some mesh. This is actually a weed block, but so it's not exactly what this is for, obviously. But it's got airflow, or it's got, you know, a hose. So it should be, oh, is that going to be a good size for this? That's actually going to be a good size for this. That's awesome. I wasn't even expecting that. That was just a piece that I had cut off from before. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that for this, because that way I don't have to go out and buy something new. There. Oh, it is actually long. That's great. Okay. Actually, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Oh. Fabulous. It went and rolled all the way over there. That's okay. It'll be fine. Just cutting this. Ah, again, super sharp. Very handy. Okay, so I'm gonna hot glue this on here. Not that the roaches should be able to get up here anyway, because part of their thing is they cannot climb smooth surfaces. Dubia roaches can't. But I think that I will sleep better at night, and my husband will sleep better at night, knowing that it is a secure container. So that's what we're gonna do. This might not work. Maybe I should put it on the other side and then set it down on top. Okay, let's try that. Not pushing it down with my fingers because hot glue is, in fact, hot. Oh no, did it? It cooled before I got it on there? Okay, this is not working. Okay, so apparently that did not work. The glue has dried too quickly. The mesh itself is like, if I try and put it down on top of it, it's just burning right through this stuff. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing, and this is part of why this is Bearded Dragon Diaries, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying this stuff out and it's apparently not working. But I might actually just leave this like this for now, because if they even do crawl up the walls, they would have to climb upside down in order to get out the hole. And like I said, dubia roaches can't really even climb up like the smooth surfaces like this. So truthfully, it should be fine. And I'm just gonna have to not let my husband know that they're not completely contained. And then we'll see how it goes. And if any of them get out, they're just dubia roaches. They need very, very high temperatures in order to breed. So if they do happen to get out into my house, they're not gonna like establish a colony, because it is not warm enough in my house for them to breed. I have to add a heating element to this eventually. I do not have that right now because nobody around here sells the type of heater that I need. I would have to get it shipped to my local store. So we're just gonna finish setting this up and putting the dubia roaches in here, and then we're gonna go from there. I am planning on putting some substrate down in here that is wheat bran, but that hasn't come in yet. So what I've got is I've got some old paper towel rolls, which I'm gonna put in here so that they have some place to hide. And I also bought these egg cartons from Tractor Supply. They're not the styrofoam ones, they're like paper. And if you put them together, if you put them like next to each other like this, the roaches will climb up in them, and then they like to be like all up in there. And so I'm just gonna set those in there, and then I have these, which are some plastic Petri dishes that my mom sent me at one point. She thought they were glass, but they're plastic. And I'm gonna put their food and like water in here because they make pretty good little dishes, and they're not too tall. So I figure the dubia roaches will be able to get into them. And I got chicken feed. I got the non-medicated so that there's no medicine in it or whatever. And people say that dubia roaches love to eat this stuff. So that is what I'm going to do. Put some of this, I don't even know how much I should put in there, but we're just going to start with that. And then that seals back up, perfect. And I have some carrots that I'm going to put in here. Not that that really needs to go in that little dish, but sure, why not? Can be their water source, and then that's their food there. So now we're gonna actually pull them out of their little container in here. And so I'm opening this over here. All right, those are two males because they've got the wings. There you go. Wanna climb down into there? Yeah, it'll be much nicer in there because it's nice and dark. Come on, shoo, shoo. Go, get off. There we go. All right. I kind of want to count them as they come out. So there's a female because she's got tiny little wings. You can see the wings are not as big on there. So you can go in there. I guess I can leave these in here. All right, so two males and a female. There's another male, so that's three males. And then we've got female, female, female. Is that 3? Yeah. So 4 females and 3 males. 5 males. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 6 females. Okay, so exactly the number that they said there'd be, which is great. So in they go. And they all seem to be alive. All right, we've got, that one on there might actually be eating already. I'm not sure. They're kind of sniffing at the food, which is kind of cool. And then they're going and hiding over here under the egg cartons and just kind of like chilling a little bit. Yeah, no, they are. They're actually in there eating that. That's actually kind of cute. Well, that one's going for the carrot. Does that taste good? Yeah? But yeah, no, they are all like chowing down. So looks like I was correct about, or you know, the internet was correct about the baby chicken feed. You're going over there and figuring out that for some water for you. Cool. They're a lot less skittishy than I was expecting, really. But you know, I guess that's cool. They might just be like tired from traveling, and so they're just kind of relaxing a little bit. But that's so cool. And you can be my little dubia roaches and make babies so that I can feed my bearded dragon. That one's hanging out right there. It's so cute. Yeah, that one's really going to town on that carrot. Mostly the females out here, though. That one over there is a male, but these are all females. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 out of the 10 females are out here eating. If I'm really quiet, I can actually hear them munching. I have no idea if it picks us up on camera or not, but that's kind of cool. All right, so we are going to go ahead and put the lid on this. Okay, yeah, that startled them a little bit, but that's fine. And then I'm going to have to move them upstairs because it's actually a little cold down here for them. Yeah, it's only 70. They like to be closer to 80. The air conditioning works really, really well in the basement, which is great, except when you're trying to breed dubia roaches. So I'm going to go ahead and move them upstairs. This is the bin I'm going to use for my mealworms. I'm a little less worried about them needing to hide. So I'm just going to kind of do that and give them little places to be under. They are going to get the same deal. And then I'm going to put carrots in there and I leave them there. Okay, so they've all buried themselves. They're down there in the bottom, I guess. Okay, so you guys all in there with your little, that might actually be wheat bran in there that they're just sitting in. Well, there they go. And because the glue gun thing didn't work, I'm actually just going to stick a couple holes in the side here with my knife or with my razor blade. So that they can get some air. Probably should have done this before I put them in, but, and mealworms also cannot climb smooth walls, so It's one of the other reasons that they are much nicer than crickets. Crickets like to climb things and escape and then make noise because they're stupid like that. All right. So there we go. So this is the start of my feeder insect colonies, my mealworms and my dubia roaches. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping that I'll be able to take care of them properly. I don't think it's going to be like super difficult to be taking care of them. So yeah, but that's probably going to be that video for right now. If you guys have any tips or tricks, go ahead and let me know. I'd be super interested to hear about it. And oh, that one's actually booking it a little bit now. Some of them are kind of getting around. It's like I said, it's a little cold down here, so I don't think they're super happy. Let them be for a little while. And I'm going to move them to where it is warmer. And they will actually have a lid on them that doesn't have any holes in it because I didn't screw up. So, like I had said, I've been doing a lot of research on feeder insects, mainly mealworms and dubia roaches, because those seem to be the easier ones to just kind of throw into a bin and take care of and breed and have babies and, then raise your own feeder insects. And so that's what I ended up going with. There is definitely some debate. There's definitely some debate out there about how you should, never feed bearded dragons mealworms, or you're not ever supposed to feed baby bearded dragons mealworms because the exoskeleton that they have on them is way too hard, and they have way too much fat versus protein, and they can cause internal blockages and all this kind of stuff that's just oh my gosh, don't ever do it. And then there's this other group of people who are they're mealworms. Just feed them the appropriate sized mealworm. You don't want to feed them one that's too big. You want to feed them one that's the proper size for them. And you also need to balance their diet, because worms, I've noticed in general, because I've looked at the protein and fat and water content for all different insects. Worms in general just have more fat. And I'm pretty sure that's because worms, not like earthworms, but mealworms, hornworms, blackfly larvae, silkworms, what was the other one? Waxworms. These are all worms. They're all something that puts itself into a cocoon of some variety or a pupa and then turns into another thing. They need to have a lot of fat content because that's how they survive while they're inside their little thing. All worms are going to have much higher, and all worms do have higher fat content than most other insects. So I feel like a lot, I don't know why I'm waving this around. I happened to have it in my hand. This is a Sharpie. I don't know why mealworms in particular seem to have such a bad rap, but I've seen plenty of people who are breeders of bearded dragons who say, yeah, just feed it as part of a well-rounded diet and make sure they're the right size and you're going to be fine. And so I'm going ahead and having mealworms, and I'm going, and then everybody sings the praises of dubia roaches because dubia roaches are so easy. They're so quiet, they're so clean, they're so easy to take care of, they're so easy to breed, they're so full of nutrition, and they don't have a really hard shell, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm also okay, I can do dubia roaches too. And then the third thing on that list that are the main three that I hear about people feeding their bearded dragons are crickets. And everybody is oh my gosh, crickets are just a nightmare. They smell, they eat each other, they can escape from their cages, they make noise, they're just really hard to get. Yeah, and so I've decided that since I have a readily available source of crickets by just driving to my local reptile store, I'm just gonna buy crickets. And then if I breed mealworms and dubia roaches, then I can kind of just use it like that, and then I can still give them a well-rounded diet and not have to deal with crickets, which I'm perfectly fine with, because that would just be, I just don't want to do that. At least from everything that I heard, and the videos that I watched online, I just don't want to mess with crickets. It's fine. It's fine if you want to. You know, this is obviously just what I'm doing. But anyway, so part of it is I've got wheat bran in the mail. I've seen some people who, they just keep a layer of wheat bran on the bottom, and the dubia roaches and mealworms will eat it to a certain extent, but also use it for burrowing and like just being in general happy. And so I thought that would be a nice idea, because I don't like the idea of it just being like plain on the bottom. I don't know. I might end up not liking the wheat bran, but I definitely want to give it a shot. It was not all that expensive. I got like a 25-pound bag for $28, and there was no shipping, which I thought was kind of odd for a 28-pound item. But that should be arriving later today. So if it gets here before I finish editing this video, editing this video, you guys might see me put that in there, but you might not. It just kind of depends. But yeah, that's basically the idea. You know, part of me just wanted to be able to get this going before I got my bearded dragon, because it's going to take a while for these guys to pop out babies. It's going to take a little while for the babies to get to any kind of a size. You know, the mealworms, I don't have any adults yet, because mealworms are obviously the worm, and then they pupate, and then they turn into, what are they called? I don't remember. There's a name for what the actual bug is, and apparently that bug, that they turn into like this black beetle, apparently that does not taste good to reptiles in general. That's why they feed mealworms instead of whatever those bugs are called. They can't be called meal bugs. That feels like that's just too easy. They could just be meal bugs, meal beetles. I don't know. I'm probably wrong. But anyway, I don't have any of those adults yet, so they can't even start laying eggs until I have those, and so I don't even know how long that's going to take. So we're just not going to worry about it. We're just going to let these sit and, you know, obviously keep them fed and keep them going, and then eventually I will hopefully have some free food. I guess for the most part, because I bought the bins, and so the bins cost, you know, the one was $7. I think I got this one was a bit more expensive. That was probably closer to 10 or 12. And I bought the knife, but I can use that for other stuff. I bought the hot glue gun, but I can use that for other stuff, so that wasn't exclusively for this. And then I bought the chicken feed. Oh, the little baby chicken feed was like $7, I think. I got it from Tractor Supply. And the little egg cartons were 59 cents each. And so, you know, I've spent maybe $20 to put all of this together. And then the carrots we just have because I like to munch on carrots. So yeah, all in all, about $20. Oh, and then $28 for the wheat bran. So that kind of adds some price to it. But you don't have to do that part. That's something that I wanted to do, but like I've seen plenty of people who just leave them on like bare floor, and then they have the you know, they have the egg crate so that they can hide in something, but yeah. So you can probably do it for around $20. You can set up your little colony. Oh, obviously, you also have to buy the insects. The rainbow mealworm, I got 250 mealworms for $7, I think. They're not expensive at all. The dubia roaches were a little more expensive. I think they were like $27 for like I said, the 5 males and the 10 females. So that is actually a bit of an outlay that you obviously have to do. But plenty of places sell the adults, but you could also like buy some babies and raise them up, but it takes, I want to say, people have said 4 to 6 months for them to reach breeding size. So like if you've got time, you know, you could just buy a little container of, you know, 25 or 50 of them, little babies, and then just grow them up, and then you'll have plenty or whatever. But if you have less time, like I do, you just go ahead and buy the adults, and then hopefully they will start breeding before too long. So that is, I think that is all of it. So the setup will probably cost you less than $20, but the insects cost a little more. Mealworms is nice and cheap though, and dubia roaches, I mean, they're not that bad. If you like this video, go ahead and like this video. If you're interested in seeing how these colonies go, if you're interested in seeing how my progress goes towards getting my bearded dragon, you know, go ahead and subscribe, stick around, and that'll be coming up. And thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.